Desolation. There is nothing left to disturb the silence of desolation. The clouds sail above the dark masses of ancient trees and are reflected in the greenish-blue waters of the tarn, which seems to be bottomless, and the surface rests, day in, day out, sunk in a mournful submissiveness. In the middle of the silent tarn stands the castle, rearing its pointed, crumbling roofs and towers towards the clouds. Rank weeds grope across the blackened, shattered walls, and the sunlight breaks on the round, dull windows. Doves fly around the dark, gloomy courtyards, seeking a hiding place in the cracked masonry. They seem to fear something, for they constantly fly, startled and agitated, past the windows. The fountain splashes in the courtyard below, gently, delicately, and the thirsty doves intermittently drink from the bronze basin. Now and then a breath of febrile decay wafts through the dusty corridors of the castle. The bats fly up, terrified. Nothing else disturbs the deep silence. The rooms are black with dust. They are high and bare and cold, full of dead things. Occasionally a tiny beam of light enters the clouded windows, but the darkness swallows it up again. The past has died here. It froze here one day, petrified into a single twisted rose. Now time, impervious, passes over its insubstantiality, and the silence of desolation suffuses all. Nobody can now enter the park. The branches of the trees embrace each other with 1,000 arms. The park is now nothing but a single, monstrous living thing. Eternal night weighs heavily beneath the gigantic baldaquin of foliage, and deep silence, and the air trembles with putrescent miasmas. Yet sometimes the park awakens from its heavy dreams. A memory is born, a memory of cool, starry nights, of dark, secret places where feverish kisses were once seen, and embraces. Summer nights full of radiant splendor, when the moon conjured forth crazy pictures on the dark background, men and women walking back and forth, elegant, gallant, rhythmical in their movements beneath the panoply of leaves, whispering mad, sweet words and smiling seductively. And then the park sank back into its sleep of death again. The shadows of copper beech and conifers rock on the surface of the waters, and from the depth of the tarn arises a dark, mournful murmuring. Swans move through the gleaming water, slowly, stately, lifting their slim, stiff necks. They move onwards, day in, day out, encircling the deserted castle. On the edge of the tarn, pale asphodels are standing amongst the livid grasses, and their reflections in the water are even paler. And when they die, others arise from the depths, and they are like the little hands of dead women. Great fish swim around the pale flowers with staring, glassy eyes. Then silently they dive into the depths, and the silence of desolation suffuses all. And the Count is sitting, day in, day out, in his crumbling tower. He gazes after the clouds which sail above the tops of the trees, gleaming and pure. He loves to watch the setting sun glowing in the clouds at evening. He listens to the sounds above him. The cry of a bird flying past the tower or the moaning wind sweeping the castle. He sees how the park is sleeping, dull and heavy, and he looks at the swans moving through the glittering waters which surround the castle, day in, day out. And the waters are gleaming greenish-blue, but the clouds that sail over the castle are reflected in the waters, and their shadows gleam as they do, radiant and pure. The water lilies beckon like the small hands of dead women, and they move, sadly dreaming in the gently moaning wind. The wretched Count gazes at everything that surrounds him, dying, like a lost child overwhelmed by a great destiny and who no longer has the strength to live, a child who fades and passes like the shades of morning. He listens more and more to the still, sad melody of his soul, transience. When it is evening, he lights the old sooty lamp and reads in massive faded volumes of ancient glories, ancient splendors. He reads with a feverish pounding heart until the present, which is not his home, fades and passes. and the shadows of the past arise, gigantic, and he lives the life, splendid, glorious, of his ancestors. At night, when the storm shrieks around the tower and the walls boom in the foundations, when the birds scream in fear outside his window, the Count is seized by a nameless melancholy. Destiny crushes his soul, his tired, tired soul, on which the weight of centuries is lying. And he presses his face against the window and gazes out into the night, and everything seems monstrous to him, dreamlike, ghostly, and terrible. He hears the storm howl through the castle as though it wished to sweep away all that was moribund and scatter it in the wind. Yet when the confused illusion of the night recedes like a shade conjured from the earth, the silence of desolation again suffuses all.